Hey yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and today I wanted a really fun video. So, today I'm actually going to be covering shiny Pokemon that might get devalued when Johto comes out. So, what I mean by this is that these are currently shiny Pokemon, or Pokemon that have shiny hunts that are pretty difficult. They might be egg only, or single encounter only, or not have hordes of any kind, and they might become easier when Johto comes out. They might have hordes added, they might, have single encounter added in the wild. A lot of these might be safari only, so we're going to be covering these. It should be pretty interesting. This is all speculation, all opinion. You guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments down below and give me your thoughts and opinions. I always love seeing that. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first couple Pokemon that I want to cover. So, let's go ahead and scroll down to the Pokedex and scroll down to Johto. Now, there's actually a couple Pokemon that I want to cover out of order. So, Miltank. Miltank is, we're going to cover the most anticipated Pokemon first, So, the first Pokemon that I'm going to, first couple, I believe it's 4 Pokemon that I'm going to cover that have been speculated and theorized over for years. Like, people have been waiting for this change for years. The first one's going to be Miltank. People definitely believe that Miltank could absolutely get like a ×5 horde. Going from a very rare Safari Zone shiny to a ×5 horde would be pretty insane. Most people shiny hunt Miltank via eggs, which makes it, right now like a 100 to 120 mil kind of shiny, at least in terms of hunting it. Shiny Miltank is currently not that much. I don't know the price. I don't know if that went out, but I would guess it's probably around 60 mil, maybe 40 mil. It's kind of it's a huge range, obviously 40 to 60 mil for a sort of egg shiny like that. I'm not deep enough into the higher tier shiny economy to understand that price, but anyways, shiny Miltank could definitely go from being a very rare Safari Zone plus egg hunt shiny into a ×5 horde. So all of these shinies, I want to give you guys some sort of, I guess, hesitancy, or be like, if you want to shiny hunt these, if you want to egg hunt these, be a little weary, because when Johto comes out, or Johto should come out within the next year or so, would be my guess. Once again, another prediction. These shinies will get devalued to that extent. If you don't care about it at the end of the day, go ahead, please feel free. Shiny hunt whatever you want. If you don't think they're going to get devalued, please go for it. But anyways, that's the first one. We got a lot of Pokemon to cover, so let's go ahead and go through that one. I'm gonna say that Miltank will actually get a ×5 horde, which is insane. I also think Mareep will get a ×5 horde. So right now, Mareep is a Safari Zone rare encounter plus an Altering Cave, a rare encounter, but Altering Cave's a whole meme nowadays. Doesn't really, mechanically, it's very obscure nowadays. Not many people go there. But anyways, Mareep, currently, most people egg hunt it. Hunting in the Safari Zone, especially for a rare, encounter as a shiny, would be insane. Plus, it could very very well run away from you. Most people egg shunt Mareep, once again costing you around like 100 to 120 mil to hunt it, whereas if it becomes a ×5 horde, it's just going to cost you around 30 hours. So that one could obviously, so Miltank and Mareep I definitely think could become ×5 hordes. Now, onto the starters. Don't worry, I definitely don't see these guys becoming ×5 hordes, or even ×3 hordes, or even like common single encounters, but Cyndaquil, Chikorita, and Totodile are very very likely to be moved out of the Hoenn Safari. A huge thing about Johto is that a lot of the Johto Pokemon right now are in the Hoenn Safari, and a lot of them would be being moved out, or moved from the Safari and being moved to their proper region, right? So every starter Pokemon in PokeMMO has a rare encounter generally in the wild. So for example, Bulbasaur, rare encounter on Route 5 in their respective regions. Charmander, rare encounter in Rock Tunnel. Squirtle, rare encounter in Seafoam Islands. Right now, the Johto starters are sort of the only exception because their region isn't in the game, right? So they have like a really weird, very rare encounter in the Safari Zone only. So they would get a much improved single encounter rare spot outside of the Safari Zone, which is a huge deal because it would give people the opportunity to single hunt them. A lot of people would probably still egg hunt them because a single encounter hunt for a rare shiny is pretty brutal, but at the same time, it's a huge step up, right? From being a very rare Safari Zone encounter with an insane catch rate in the Safari Zone, pretty much a must egg breed, to, some people can now single encounter this. That'll open up, some more Johto starter shinies to come into the game. All right, now on to the next Pokemon that I want to talk about, Aipom. Obviously, all the Pokemon that I'm going to be talking about are also referring to their whole line of shinies. It's also super important. So, Aipom. Shiny Aipom is a really cool one. Shiny Aipom is currently, you can get a common encounter at the Honey Tree, but that doesn't really count because you can't really consistently do honey tree encounters because it requires waiting an hour between each tree encounter. Now he has an uncommon encounter in the Safari Zone, which is not horrible. He doesn't have the worst catch rate, but obviously shiny hunting in the Safari Zone, single encountering alone is pretty brutal. I could easily see Aipom/Ambipom getting a ×5 or a ×3. Both of those seem pretty reasonable. I could see him going into sort of a Zangoose situation. Pretty cool Pokemon. Could easily see a ×3 or a ×5 horde. Now moving on to Sentret. Alright, now Sentret's a pretty easy one. Sentret is a pretty beloved shiny hunt, actually. There's a specific niche sort of person or sort of group of people who love Sentret and fur, and especially their shinies. While right now Sentret has been an uncommon, single encounter hunt for a while. There is no horde encounter for Sentret or for it, which is surprising considering it's such like a pretty like early game, or pretty like you would think of this Pokemon as a ×5 horde spot on like Island 5 in Kanto, at least in my opinion. That's how I feel. But it's only a single encounter in that area, so I could really easily see Sentret going from an uncommon single encounter to a ×5 horde pretty super easily with Johto. Now moving on, so that's with Sentret. Sentret is the final most anticipated Pokemon, I would say. There still are a ton of Pokemon. Those are just the ones that I probably feel the most confident about in my prediction, even though a lot of them are so bold. Those ones have been theorized for years. Now, the other ones I'm going to jump into are less theorized and may make a little less sense, but there's a lot of them. So let's get into it. So they're all very possible, right? So Leddyba. Leddyba right now is a single encounter. There's no horde for Leddyba or Ledian. I believe it's an uncommon encounter. Yeah, it's at its best an uncommon single encounter. Not many people care about Leddyba/Ledian. It's a pretty trash Pokemon. Not many people are a huge fan of it. I could easily see this getting a ×5 spot, and not many people caring. I could see this being a ×5 50% spot with like a cooler Pokemon. Like I could see Ledian being a ×5 spot, or maybe even a ×3 with like Yanma, like those two being put in like the same spot and it being a 50% chance. So you have like sort of the Ledian like lame shiny versus the cool Chad Yanma shiny, similar to Axew and Woobat. Now the next Pokemon I want to talk about is going to be Natu. So Natu and Xatu are both cool bird Pokemon, psychic flying types, which is actually pretty rare. Really cool typing, really interesting Pokemon. Not many people care about it. So Xatu is really good in later generation competitive play because of Magic Bounce, which bounces things like Stealth Rocks and Toxic and other sort of statusing field effect abilities like that back at the opponent, which is really powerful, right? Currently, there is only the best thing you can do is encounter Natu at a single encounter rate in Ruin Valley in Kanto. I can easily see this getting a ×3 or a ×5. The first two, Leddyba and Natu, are ones that I don't see. Like they could easily get ×3 or ×5. Not many people care about them. Now on to another Pokemon that not many people care about, but I personally love and super care about, and actually really want to shiny hunt this Pokemon myself, is going to be Sunkern. So right now, Sunkern has the best way to shiny hunt Sunkern is an uncommon single encounter spot in Route 12 in Unova. I could easily see Sunkern getting a ×3 or a ×5 spot. It's also one of those like Safari Zone type Johto Pokemon. It does have another spot obviously out of the Safari Zone, which is pretty huge, but could easily see this thing getting a ×3 or a ×5. I personally love Sunkern, so I don't know how I'd feel about it getting a ×3 or ×5. I kind of like the exclusivity of it being a weird, rare, shiny, and also having being single encounter, but I don't know. I also love horde hunts, so I'd be super cool with it getting another spot. The next Pokemon I mentioned vaguely earlier is going to be Yanma. Now, Yanma is a really cool shiny, a really wanted shiny. I would compare, similar once again to that. I compare a lot of shiny hunts to that ×3 spot in Hoenn that has Zangoose, Seviper, and like Seedot/Nuzleaf. It's a really cool spot. There's a lot of great shinies there. And Yanma kind of fits that bill with like the blue tint on the shiny. Very cool shiny. The best way to shiny hunt it right now is a single encounter spot, uncommon. I could definitely see Yanma getting a ×3. I think a ×5 is unlikely. I would be really surprised if it got a ×5, but I absolutely could see it getting a ×3 spot. So the next Pokemon I want to talk about is going to be Pineco. Now, right now, Pineco, I believe, is, basically Safari Zone only. He technically can also be found in Altering Cave. I've had a lot of Discord members find and catch shiny Pinecos in the Safari Zone over the past year or so, which is hilarious. Congratulations to all of you. You're very talented. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck in there, but you know what? It's really cool shiny. I feel like I could actually see Pineco getting super devalued on this one. This is, once again, just speculation and personal opinion. I could absolutely see Pineco / Fortress getting a ×5 spot in one of the caves in the region, whether that's a mid-game cave. Like, I think obviously if it's Pineco, it's going to be like an early to mid-game cave, but if it's Fortress, a ×5 Fortress Horde, similar to like Pharaoh Seed, I could see it being late game. But anyways, yeah, I really could see Pineco getting a ×5 Horde spot in some sort of cave. They need those cave hordes. Now the next Pokemon is going to be Snubbull. My prediction for Snubbull, right now it's a rare single encounter. I wonder if Grubbull's any better. Yeah, right now the only way to shiny hunt Snubbull is rare single encounter hunting, only in the daytime. That's crazy. Or obviously egg hunting for all of these. I really think that Snubbull will get an early ×3 horde. I think he's similar to like Rattata or Raticate in that regard, where he's sort of an early game Pokemon that I could definitely see getting a ×3 horde, kind of like Zubat in the Mount Moon Cave, or he could be like one of the first ×5 hordes we would see in the game. Granbull could also be another candidate for a late game ×5 horde in a cave, similar to Hariyama. All right. That covers Snubbull / Granbull. Now on to the next Pokemon, Qwilfish, which I butchered the spelling on. Qwilfish, I could super see getting a ×5 water horde. I hope they don't add just infinite tentacle / tentacle water hordes. I think they're going to need a lot of interesting water hordes. Right now, Qwilfish is a single encounter at an uncommon rate in multiple different spots. No evolution. I could definitely see Qwilfish getting a ×5, either underwater or on the water. I don't even know if there's underwater mechanics in Johto. I don't believe so. I never played Johto traditionally on cartridge games, so I just don't know the map well enough, obviously, as well. So a lot of these are super turbo guesses. Now, the next Pokemon I want to talk about is Shuckle. Please don't. Please. For those that don't know, Shuckle's my favorite Pokemon. Shuckle's my favorite shiny. I have a shiny Shuckle. I got very, very lucky in the Safari Zone and got it. For personal reasons, I hope they don't touch Shuckle. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I don't know. I would love to see Shuckle get a, like, uncommon single encounter hunt. I think that'd be super fair. I think seeing Shuckle get a uncommon to maybe rare, uncommon, maybe like Sudowoodo, like a rare single encounter hunt in Johto. I'd be okay with that. I think that's a super fair balancing. Uncommon to rare, single encounter hunt. I can see that for Shuckle. I don't see them doing a ×3 or a ×5 horde, or at least I really, really hope they don't do that. But anyways, on to the next Pokemon, Heracross. Now, Heracross is a crazy one. I actually really, really doubt they'll touch Heracross. It could get a ×3 or a ×5 horde, but dude, I really doubt it. I really, really doubt it is kind of my general consensus. It might get more like uncommon single encounter hunts, but that probably is going to be the best you're going to see, in my opinion. Heracross has just been like kind of a defining shiny in PokeMMO for so long. Like, it's been a pretty rare shiny since 2013, 2014, when like you could hunt it, I believe, in like Pattern Bush back in the day. It's not even there. It still is there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't see them touching this mod. I don't see them balancing in that way. I definitely think Heracross will be untouched, personally. But it could get a ×3 or ×4, but I really, really doubt it. Anyways, on to the next Pokemon. Remoraid. Remoraid is super similar to Qwilfish. I could see this thing getting a ×5 water horde super easily. Going from a very common single encounter hunt. It has no horde spots. It has multiple very common single encounters, but no horde spots. Yeah, a lot of very common single encounters, but no horde spots. Are they all fishing encounters? That's a really important thing. I wonder if Remoraid, if it's fishing only, that is pretty crazy, because fishing is super slow no matter how common the encounters are. Maybe it gets like a time. Maybe it gets an above water single encounter or ×3. I don't know. I could see this thing getting a ×5. I could see Remoraid and Qwilfish both getting ×5s, honestly, on top of water. Wouldn't surprise me. On to the next Pokemon, Delibird. I would actually. So, I don't think they'll add a ×5 spot for Delibird. Right now, Delibird is an uncommon single encounter hunt in Giant Chasm. I don't think they'll add a ×5 spot for Delibird. I could see them doing a ×3 or a more common single encounter. So I could see them doing like a common or a very common single encounter hunt. I could definitely see that. I'd be really surprised if they do a ×5, but I would still love that because I love shiny Delibird. Really, really cool Pokemon. Now on to Skarmory. Skarmory is another shiny very similar to Heracross, where it's been rare for so long in PokeMMO. If they touched it, it would be so bold. I kind of really doubt it. Although I think what might happen is they might add it as a, like, it could be a common to they could add more single encounter spots, whether common to rare in like later game caves would be my guess. I could definitely see them. I could see them adding single encounter spots. I do not see them adding a ×3 or a ×5 spot for Skarmory personally. Let's go ahead and go on to Hitmontop. So Hitmontop is an interesting one. Obviously, the Tyrogue line is super, super rare shinies. All of these shinies are super, super rare. There's no wild location for Tyrogue. There's only very rare wild encounters for Hitmonchan. These guys are pretty much strictly egg hunt shinies. But Hitmontop was introduced in 2nd gen, you know, obviously alongside Tyrogue, but Tyrogue, I don't see them adding a wild location for Tyrogue. That'd be weird. I do see them adding a late game single encounter spot for Hitmontop. I could absolutely see Hitmontop becoming a single encounter in the wild. That would make a lot of sense in late game caves, similar to, you know, Pineco or Granville or things of that nature. Now on to the next Pokemon though. Now this is probably this is the last Pokemon that I actually want to talk about, and probably the most insane one. If they touch this shiny hunt, I would be blown away. I would be very, very surprised. I heavily doubt they will touch Larvitar. This would be so brave from the devs. But it is one of the pseudo legendaries that has been around in the game for a long time, the longest, you know. I guess him and Larvitar and Dragonite have been around kind of equally as long. Back when the game was just Fire Red, Larvitar was still in the game on Savault Canyon and on the islands always. But there is a ×5 for other pseudo legendaries like Deano. Deano actually has a ×5 horde spot in Unova, so it's not impossible for Larvitar to get some sort of times. It's crazy thing about Larvitar getting a ×5 horde spot. It's not impossible, but it would be very brave from the devs. I think at the most we might see another rare encounter single spot, but yeah, I could actually, I think my prediction would be I see them moving the Larvitar spot out of Savault Canyon perhaps, and giving it a rare single encounter spawn in Johto. So there we go. That's all of my predictions for all of the upcoming possible shiny hunt changes and shiny Pokemon being devalued when Johto comes out within the next year or so, hopefully. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you liked this video, if it was entertaining, helpful, educational, etc., etc., hit the like button and subscribe for future PokeMMO content. That would help me out a ton. If you want more PokeMMO content, if this video wasn't enough for you, if you want to have stuff in the background while playing PokeMMO, go ahead and check out the playlist links down below. Join my Discord to join a really cool community, ask me questions, and learn a ton about this game. And then finally, if you want to go above and beyond and support me, I do YouTube full time, so any sort of extra support means a ton. Giving back to me via YouTube membership, donations, via super chats, Venmo, Patreon, Twitch Prime, Twitch subs, all that stuff. That's the end of that spiel. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later.